Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and look at this. I can't remember if I showed this to you. Circle's USDC overtakes Tether's USDT in stablecoin transactions per Visa, I guess. And it just so happens that Link2 has Circle private equity on the platform. They also today added private equity in Patreon onto the platform. So that's some news if you want to go check that out. They are my sponsor. Link2 is linqto.com. Finally, someone has come along to do what nobody has done and support developers and builders in their pursuit of getting funding, like real funding, with real adults in the room. Brad Combs here. Thank you, Digital Chamber. This is post XRP Las Vegas. It is a privilege and an honor to work with all of you. Now's the time to continue to lead and take the next steps with developers and builders of the XRP Army to help them find the resources and funding they have so badly needed. I talked to Brad Combs about this, and he said that the idea is to create some type of, at XRP Las Vegas 2025, create some type of Shark Tank so that the builders and developers can come and get funding. Here he says, we don't have to have the same reasons in order to fight for the same cause. And then he says, we're going to get the builders all the money. I'm assuming he means all the money they need. Okay? So Brad taking some leadership here where nobody has. And so good for him. I will help him get them there. That'll be my part to play. All right. Now, this is, I had not shown a clip of Perianne Boring there at XRP Las Vegas from the Digital Chamber, but here she is.
To weed it out. But we do have a lot of champions. There's just some people in very high places in leadership today who are totally anti-crypto. But Congress is also one of the most dysfunctional organisms that exist probably in the world. I worked in Congress, I still do, just in a kind of a different capacity now. It's extremely dysfunctional. It was kind of designed that way. It was kind of set up to make it very difficult to get new laws passed, made into law. And I think that's actually a good thing. Things should be heavily debated before before they become the law of the land. But we have other issues where you've got a political agenda being effectuated against our industry, and that's posing significant risk for our community.
Okay, then we've got this Max Kaiser, who is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over Bitcoin, says demand shock meets supply shock, God candle incoming, 220,000 in play for Bitcoin. Then this guy says supply shortage incoming. I hope they're right, because what's good for Bitcoin is going to be good for the rest of the market as far as drizzling down into the altcoin market for now. Here's Raoul Paul saying that we have 6 years to make as much money as possible.
6 years. 6 years until the economic singularity. When we don't understand how economies work anymore, that's 6 years to make as much money as possible or get ourselves positioned when AI and robotics change the entire formula for GDP. 6 years.
I like the sound of that. I'll be here for those 6 years to take advantage. Breaking crypto exchange Crypto.com is under investigation. That is Crypto.com under investigation by U.S. government agencies and may collapse or stop operating in the U.S. I don't know about that. But what I do know is Gary Gensler seems to be on an all-out war against everybody. Here's Robinhood.
Robinhood says it could be preparing for potential enforcement action by the SEC. The investing platform said in a filing today that it received a Wells notice from the regulator over the weekend, which said it made a preliminary determination that Robinhood could face potential enforcement action over its crypto business. Robinhood's chief legal, compliance, and corporate affairs officer said the company believes its listed assets are not securities in a blog posted today, and that the company looks forward to engaging with the SEC to make clear just how weak any case against Robinhood Crypto would be on both the facts and the law. The Post also said Robinhood Crypto doesn't list tokens or provide products that the SEC alleged are securities in past enforcement actions. In February, Robinhood disclosed that it received subpoenas from the SEC regarding its crypto operations. Shares of the stock were up 1% as of noon Eastern. The company is also due to report its earnings this Wednesday.
Then if you go up here, this is the chief legal, compliance, and corporate affairs of Robinhood, who is an ex-SEC guy. Watch this.
Remind you of some things that have happened in the past. This is Robinhood talking a little bit more about their position. And this is coming from a former SEC individual. Listen in.
I've worked in the financial services industry for over 25 years and served as a commissioner of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and as deputy director of the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets. We offer 18 digital assets compared to hundreds on other platforms. We don't offer yield-generating products like staking or lending. And Robinhood Markets is a publicly traded company subject to SEC disclosure rules, and we operate two highly regulated, registered subsidiary broker-dealers.
Couldn't you simply offer those tokens through your SEC-registered broker-dealer?
It's a very, very telling question. The answer is no. There are a few coins that have been noted in recent SEC complaints that we do trade on our platform. You would think with a major broker-dealer sitting on the other side of our house, our primary business, we could simply say, okay, SEC, you've just said these are securities. I'm going to go trade them on my broker now. It's impossible without regulatory relief and infrastructure changes in the securities markets. When Chair Gensler at the SEC in 2021 said, come in and register, we did. We actually came in. We went through a 16-month process with the SEC staff trying to register a special purpose broker-dealer. And then we were pretty summarily told in March that process was over and we would not see any fruits of that effort.
And just for the record, what is the status of your registration effort presently?
I believe it's the technical term would be DOA.
So as you can see, this, of course, is Robinhood. They've gone by the rules of the road. And I think they've also aligned themselves in a very good position, possibly a better position, maybe even more so than Coinbase. So for this to happen to them, a Wells notice, just shows the kind of scenario that we've talked about many times, and that is government overreach that continues to be part of the narrative that's coming out of the SEC.
Well, the narrative is that the only people that are gone after are the people that have tried to do the right thing. Has the SEC dropped a lawsuit on Joseph Lubin yet? Or Vitalik Buterin yet? Not that I'm aware of. And that's a whole different can of tomatoes than these kind of companies. Anthony Pompliano, who is, quote, ex-military, military, pumping Bitcoin again on Yahoo Finance.
Right. Yeah, I think that a lot of people get distracted by the day-to-day price, right? It's a volatile asset, but really the volatility of it is the US dollar exchange price. So
ex-military and ex-pizza salesman.
How many dollars are people willing to depart with in order to get a Bitcoin? But what we have continued to see over the long run is that Bitcoin is probably the most desirable asset in the world. And so people around the world continue to buy this thing. And that's why you're seeing that 200-day moving average, right? Kind of these longer term trends continue to go up. And now with the ETFs getting approved, you not only have retail investors, family offices, a couple of corporations. Now it's coming out that some of the largest RIAs, Hightower just came out and said they bought some Bitcoin. There's sovereign wealth funds, many others that are all trying to buy this thing. So I think that it's a really, really good long-term tailwind at its back.
So you talk about the fact it's a great long-term tailwind. Then where does the price go from here? I mean, we're waiting for maybe that future catalyst. Then what is the next thing that's on the horizon?
Well, the Federal Reserve is the greatest Bitcoin proponent possible, right? Because they're going to continue to debase the dollar. And so if you watch that, same thing like real estate, right? Real estate in certain markets can go up or down in a month-to-month or year-to-year basis. And so if you're kind of short-term oriented, you're likely to maybe mess up. But if you buy real estate and you hold it for 20 years, very few places in the world have you not seen that real estate go up in value. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? It's got these sound money principles. It's outside the system. No one can create more of it. And it's priced in dollars today. And so if all of a sudden the dollar is losing value and it's only 21 million Bitcoin, somebody is going to have to pay you more dollars in the future to buy that same Bitcoin. And so I think that it really incentivizes long-term thinking. And so the people who are short-term oriented or trying to trade, it's an 80 vol asset, right? I mean, good luck. And so buying it, just holding it and waiting is probably one of the best strategies.
Well, I want to talk about the Bitcoin ETFs and some of the outflows and inflows that we're seeing. Obviously, record-breaking outflows for Grayscale to the tune of almost $17.5 billion. But I know they did just recently have their very first week of inflows, so congrats to them. I wonder what story that tells you. Is that something idiosyncratic to Grayscale, or is that indicative of maybe more institutional money coming into the space?
Yeah, look, I think that they knew by not lowering their fee to be competitive with everybody else that people were going to leave, and the calculation was how many people are going to leave and what is it going to make up for in terms of this fee. Now, what's really interesting is their market cap of the AUM that they have is much higher than maybe everyone expected, because the price of Bitcoin is up 50%, right? And so all of a sudden you're seeing that fund continue to grow in size, and that's really blunted a lot of the pain of those capital outflows.
Okay, won't play any more of that. In DAIXRP.com, here's what we're going to do. Saul, Uptown Saul here asks a question. How did you break your middle finger, Brad Garlinghouse? Are you a hooper? Well, turns out that I asked Brad Garlinghouse this question to his face. I'm going to give you the answer in DAIXRP.com. I'm going to tell you what he said to me and what I said back to him. And I'll show you, and then I'll talk about a couple other things. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family. Looks like Brad Garlinghouse may have broken his finger, and we're going to tell you why or what happened. All right, here we go.